So we're going through the homing process, and all this is going to do is go to the minimum stops, find zero, and then it's going to center itself on the bed and find zero for the Z-axis, which is done by the probe. The probe does this. The probe is replaced the old Z-axis stop, which is over there. It's replaced it. So now it's going into the ABL mode, auto bed leveling, and the probe is going to probe in 16 points on the bed, and it's going to make a matrix, and it's going to upload that matrix to the firmware, and that way the firmware knows where the low spots are on the bed and the high spots, and it creates a matrix plane that it can go by, so it can automatically adjust the Z plane, which is the up and down, so that as you're printing it's level. So if the bed is unlevel, it automatically corrects. ABL, basically just a servo that's mounted to your carriage. Probes. I have a 16 probes on my plane because this is a larger bed. So a smaller bed you can probably get away with 4 or 9. Excuse me, yeah, 3 or 6, depending how you set it up. 3 I think is a little minimal, unless you already know your bed's pretty level. Anyway, it's pretty simple. You just basically add a servo with a micro switch, and the micro switch goes on, triggers. Set it up ahead of time by calibrating the same point where the nozzle's just touching the bed, and then you raise it. You do a G92, raise it up to zero all the axes, and then you raise it up and put the servo probe on that same spot, and do an M114 to get the difference, and enter that into the firmware, so it basically knows the difference between where the probe touches and the exact point where the nozzle touches the bed. That's all it needs to know. It seems to work fairly well. I was kind of skeptical how well ABL would work. But it's been really helpful with my printer. I've been able to do quite quality. It's been quite impressive. I would recommend that anybody with a large bed like mine would definitely want it. If you notice, it's printing a little bit faster now. I've been playing around with what they call jerk and acceleration in the firmware, and I was able to quadruple my speed. I used to run at 20, now it's running at 80. Speed at least. Speed is just a relative term, but it's basically supposedly 20 millimeters a second. When you turn on acceleration, that kind of all changes, but when you change the jerk, that changes. But yeah, it went from 20 to 80 as far as speed wise. So I've quadrupled my speed, so I'm able to print at much faster speeds. And I don't have the false starts that I had. Before I would get a lot of false starts, but with the ABL, the auto bed leveling, everything seems to stay very level. If you watch, it's correcting. You see that you see on the right hand side there by the fan, the little nut spinning. That's the Z-axis going up and down as it's compensating as it's going through the print. So that's how unlevel the bed is. So it's compensating for the levelness, for the unlevelness of the bed. As it moves across the plane, it's running the carriage up and down ever so slightly to compensate for unlevelness. That was a major problem for me. The bed was very wavy, or whatever you want to call it. So it was a nightmare trying to get prints to start. I had a lot of false starts because of that. And I had to go to spring loading to compensate. This works much better than spring loading. I would completely remove the spring loading, although it won't work without the ABL. The way it just won't print. It just doesn't even work trying to print without the ABL and no spring loading. The glass is wavy. I mean, the glass is wavy. The bed's moving back and forth on those bearings. It's never level. It's never the same. Every time I take the glass off, it changes, because I've got that silicone mat heater underneath there, and I remove this glass quite a bit to put on the paper. So it's on and off a lot. So it's always slightly changing, just slightly. And I'm able to get within a 0.2 millimeter accuracy with the head. Actually, it's 0.1. It's around I calibrated it several times. It's around 0.1 millimeter accuracy with auto bed leveling. So you're able to dial it in pretty close. I just use a Z offset of about 2, and I'm fine. So works pretty well. Probably see both axes correcting as it goes. You're looking. There you can see both of the Z-axis motors correcting as it's going through the print. I may be able to get this to go faster. I haven't experimented with it, but I'm happy that I can get this fast. Much faster than 20, I'll tell you that right now. It's cut down my print times a lot, so.